America is hurting today. Two tragedies have shaken us. First, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, co-founder of Turning Point USA, shot while speaking at Utah Valley University. And second, the brutal killing of Iryna Zarutska, a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, randomly stabbed to death on a Charlotte light rail train. These aren't isolated. They reflect deeper patterns: political violence, public safety failures, and rising fear in everyday spaces. Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck mid-speech, in a public setting meant for open dialogue. He later died from his injuries. Police have a suspect, but questions remain. How do we secure free speech spaces without silencing them? Iryna's story is just as heartbreaking. She escaped war in Ukraine, seeking peace here. Yet on a train ride home with headphones in, she was stabbed multiple times by a man with a history of mental illness. No argument, no provocation, just sudden violence. One event targeted a political figure, the other a vulnerable young woman. Together they underline two truths: political violence is on the rise, and everyday public safety is fraying in America. Let's zoom out. The data tells us something surprising. According to the FBI, from May 2024 to April 2025, violent crime overall actually went down. Murder fell by 6.6%, aggravated assault by 13.3%, robbery by 4.1%, rape by 15.3%. And over the last 30 years, violent crime in the US has dropped nearly 50%. Robbery alone fell 74% since 1993. So if crime is down, why do we feel less safe than ever? The answer? Because some types of violence are rising. Take public transit. A recent study shows assault-related injuries on U.S. transit systems rose 152% from 2014 to 2023. Assaults now account for over 1/5 of all injuries on buses, trains, and stations. On screen, bar chart of transit assaults rising sharply, 2014 to 2023. And then there's political violence. Research from Princeton shows that threats and attacks against public officials have surged, even while crime overall fell. A Johns Hopkins expert, Liliana Mason, warns, when political leaders use dehumanizing language, it lowers the social barrier against violence. Add social media echo chambers, and lone actors, not organized groups, become radicalized online. That's exactly the environment fueling shootings like the one that took Charlie Kirk's life. So yes, violent crime overall is down, but transit assaults and political violence are up. And those are exactly the arenas where everyday people feel exposed, on their commute and in our democracy. Then there's mental health. Most people with mental illness are not violent, but cases like Iryna's highlight the gaps in our system. Studies show that people living near high-crime areas face trauma too. About 15% meet thresholds for PTSD or depression. The violence doesn't stop with the victim. It ripples outward, through families, communities, and even strangers who now carry fear onto trains, buses, and into public gatherings. And when dozens of passengers witness a stabbing but can't intervene in time, it raises hard questions about security, accountability, and bystander responsibility. So where do we go from here? Mental health infrastructure must be stronger. Early intervention, treatment, and coordinated responses between services and law enforcement. Public safety on transit needs an upgrade. More visible security, faster emergency response without turning cities into police states. Political leadership must cool rhetoric, not inflame it. Words matter. They can push people toward violence or pull them back from the edge. Cultural responsibility. Building a society where people step up for each other. Where empathy is not optional but expected. Because at the end of the day, these tragedies are not just about Charlie Kirk or Iryna Zarutska. They're about whether America can keep its people safe, in public life, in public spaces, and in the ordinary routines of daily life. We can't bring them back, but we can honor them, not by succumbing to fear, but by demanding change. Evil thrives when we accept it as normal. Safety, empathy, and accountability. That's how we fight back. Thanks for watching. Stay aware, stay safe, and stay hopeful.